let's hear from someone who truly is inspirational. Someone who has not only cared for someone with Parkinson's, but also in their own right has been a legend in their own time. Connie Carpenter Phinney. She is best known as a legendary two-sport Olympic athlete and winner of the 1984 Olympic gold medal in cycling. But these days, her passion is advocating for the Parkinson's caregiving community. She's married to Davis Phinney, who was diagnosed with Parkinson's at the age of 40, more than 20 years ago. Together, they founded the Davis Phinney Foundation for Parkinson's in 2004. So please join me in welcoming Connie to the stage.
Thank you, Roger. Roger, you missed your calling as a comedian, I think. Had everybody laughing. Wow, nice crowd. Listen, I'm here today as a champion, but more to champion the role of the care partner. I'm not here to talk about what it takes to be an Olympic champion, and I know many of you in the room know what it's like to be a care partner. And with that in mind, I wonder if the care partners, whoever identifies as a care partner in the room would raise their hand just so I can see. Yeah, thank you for being here. I learned as I was preparing to talk here that we don't all use the same language when we talk about care partners, caregivers, carers. And so I thought that it's much better to stay focused on the verb to care, because that's why we're here. We care, right? We're here because we care. And it takes a lot to choose to be here. So I want to welcome especially the newcomers, the newly diagnosed, those that are new to the World Parkinson's Congress. I especially want you to know how brave it is for you to be here attending this event. And you're showing up not only for yourself, but for your person with Parkinson's, yeah. I can still remember the first times I entered a room that was full of people with Parkinson's and how daunting it was. You see all the many faces and stages of the disease. And it can be a little terrifying, to be honest. But it also, even though it tested me, maybe it tested me to my limits, and I'd done that in sports, but this was a new kind of test, and I think all of us feel a little tested to be here, but also so grateful for the opportunity to share what we know and to learn from each other, which is really why we're here. We didn't choose Parkinson's, but we did choose to be here. And because we chose to be here, we've chosen to be better, to get better, and to do it together. And I think that's an important message here, and it reminds me of my sporting days. It takes me back to the team effort. It takes a team. So we're here as a team, all of us, this whole room. What a team. Those of you with Parkinson's here at the World Parkinson's Congress and the millions around the world, including my husband at home in Colorado, did not choose Parkinson's disease. Many of you know Davis and know that we founded the Davis Phinney Foundation mainly because there were so little resources available at the time when he was diagnosed, now 23 years ago. It's more than half the time that we've been married. And actually we're coming up on our 40th anniversary, and they don't give medals for that, but maybe they should. We've struggled and learned together, and are grateful for so many of you that we've met in this room over the years, for what you've brought to us and the kind of courage you've displayed and the unbelievable stubborn attitudes that you have demonstrated throughout have really stuck with us because it's kind of what it takes, right? When Davis was first diagnosed, someone sent us a fax message. That's how long ago it was. And I don't even know who it was, but it was a handwritten note that came in on our fax machine, and it said, "Don't let anyone tell you it could always be worse." You might have heard those words too, and I think because you're laughing, you did. And, you know, doctors and well-meaning friends tell you it could always be worse. And, you know, you're like, yeah, we know. We know. But this is what we have. And there's a time where you feel like perhaps your future's been stolen from you, and you feel lost. But you come to an event like this, I think, to find yourself. And that helps. So I'm glad you're here. I'm no stranger to chronic illness or to the role of the carer. It may have eased my journey, the fact that my mom had multiple sclerosis, and I don't really remember her before that time. I was 5 when she was diagnosed. She was 30. She had 4 kids. And one of the funny things, you know, my dad was a fantastic caregiver, and he set a great example. He was very affable. He had kind of Roger's sense of humor over there. And I really appreciated that because he kept things going, kept things light. But my mom lived with an unknown path, and it taught me not to be afraid of that, to pay attention and embrace the good days. I think a lot of us feel the same way. My mom was also stubborn, and she refused to use the word disease when talking about her condition. And in fact, I think if I used the word disease in our home, I was led to believe that it was a swear word. And so it took me many years of travel to realize that disease is in fact not a swear word, right? Because I've learned to swear in most languages. But back to you, back to the room, and you know, I just again want to thank everyone for being here. For those of you who chose to become experts to help people with Parkinson's, to the many, you know, we're all, I guess as the Spanish say, and here we go, aliados en el cuidado, we're all allies in care. And I think we want to remember that while we're here, why we're here. As a care partner, as care partners in the room, we're spouses, we're sisters, we're brothers, we're sons, daughters, parents, and friends of someone with Parkinson's, and we've chosen to be here. But I know what some of you are thinking. I did not choose to be here. I did not ask for this. And you're right, but you showed up and you're here. You're here supporting not just your person with Parkinson's, but others with Parkinson's. And why? You're here because we care. We choose to care. Caring is hard work, but it's our work. It's not easy to watch your person with Parkinson's suffer and change, to perhaps watch their symptoms worsen, to see their world grow smaller. It's hard. You know it. I know it. We live it. Recently, my friend Gail lost her husband to Parkinson's, but she still chooses to give back to the care community on a regular basis with our foundation and as part of our monthly support group. Gail said she felt herself change and become pushier when her husband's health declined. She said her role shifted, and this is where English has distinctions, from being a care partner to being a caregiver. It's kind of like going from a two-way street to a one-way street. She said she pushed him to eat, to exercise, to take his meds. She urged him to try harder, to get better, to exercise, to take his meds on time. She urged him to try, just try, keep trying. And she said afterwards, she wondered what could she have done differently. And she said, I wonder if it wouldn't have just been better for both of us if we would have just sat on the couch and talked more and held hands. It's a beautiful sentiment to simply take time, take more time to hold hands, slow it down a little. Maybe when we want to show we care, we can choose to be present and acknowledge how hard it is, and maybe spend more time holding hands. So with that in mind, I'm going to ask you all a favor. If you're comfortable, I wonder if you might gently take the hand or the wrist of your friend or your neighbor. And we're going to do what Olympic champions do on the podium all together. And we're going to raise our hands. It's going to be a show of strength and unity, love and power, all right? So here we go. Woo! Thank you.